The X350 generation Jaguar XJ is a great blend of old and new, with an aluminium skeleton and air suspension hidden beneath retro styling and traditional Jag luxury. But what's it like to live with, fix and even restore one of these cars? Well, our colleagues at Classics World have owned this one for 7 years, so there's no one better to ask.
This particular car has done the rounds. It was a project car in Classics Monthly magazine, Jaguar World magazines, and a lot of maintenance work was carried out in that time. And then we used it for quite a lot of editorial features. It was part of a big road trip up to Scotland where we took to the scenic roads of the NC 500, and the editor of Jaguar World, Paul Walton, even drove it all the way down to Monaco, which was quite an exceptional drive. But having done all of that stuff, we kind of reached the end of the road with it, and we were debating about what to do with the project car after that. And basically the choice was simple: either just sell it there and then, or keep it and maybe take it to the next level. Rightly or wrongly, we landed on the latter, that we did want to keep it. There were a number of reasons for that. Based on the first video, it seemed that there's quite a lot of love out there for the X350. An early X350 is now becoming increasingly rare. We were kind of at this sort of crossroads, like I say, and we thought, well, why not do a bit more to it? So I took it under my wing for about a month or so of 2020. Got to sort of know about it, got to know what its foibles were. I took it into a local independent Jaguar specialist. The air suspension warnings had come up, and it turned out that it was a slightly soggy damper, which once replaced and then the system reset, the warning has gone away. But then there was one last problem, and that was the paintwork, because although these X350s are all aluminium and in theory shouldn't rust, and in fact they don't, there is this problem with the paint reacting with the aluminium surface, and you get this very unsightly paint bubbling that goes on. Again, we decided, do we dare invest in a full respray? Economically, it made absolutely no sense whatsoever, but maybe longer term it will, I don't know. Our erstwhile colleague Rob Hawkins jumped on a train from Leeds to come down to Peterborough, where the X350 was situated, to collect it. But then of course the world turned upside down in March 2020, and the car sat bone idle. It's now been over 1.5 years, but I'm glad to say it's now back and looking resplendent, I have to say. We should probably cut to Rob, who can tell us in person just exactly what's happened in the last 1.5 years with this car.
So back in 2017 we bought this car, ran it through Jaguar World magazine and did everything to it. Spent a lot of time fixing it up, repairing, servicing it, which was all featured in the magazine then. Then fast forward to 2020, in January, February time of that year, we decided let's go do a respray. Started shopping around, settled on Elite here to do the respray, and in March 2020 we started stripping the car. Just at the point when COVID started to kick off, and lo and behold, we got 1 day's worth of work out before the entire country went into lockdown. That was then put on hold for 14 months. It'd been partly stripped and it was put away and left dry for that 14 months. And then we got going on it again, so everything came off. Bonnet, boot, doors, glass, all the glass came out, windscreen, race screens, that was new clips, new glass afterwards. Counted at roughly 150 to 200 hours of labour for preparing it, put it in their booth, for spraying it, all the repairs that needed doing. There's a few dings in the aluminium, but generally speaking it went well. Bear in mind it's an aluminium shell, so there wasn't much corrosion. The rest of the job was basically a case of doing new seals and fitting new glass and complete respray, along with the wheels as well. Got an early model here. Surely this is one that in 20-30 years time we'll be looking back and thinking, wow, we did the right job. I mean, this is a car to keep, surely. This is a classic of the future.
So there you have it. He's done a fantastic job, and I think you'll agree that the car is looking fantastic. It's still not perfect, there's still some things to do. Obviously the car's sat around for a long time, so there's clearly signs that it could do with a bit of TLC. Headlights, they've started to fog up the way they do when they get to a certain age, so those could do with a polish up. It's about 25 degrees today and I'm absolutely cooking on the account that the air conditioning isn't working. That needs a regas. And crucially after that, I think we just need to make sure we use it regularly, because although it's got 142,000 miles on the clock, it's in fine fettle, it really is, and it doesn't really want for much. So all we need to do now is to, I think, keep using it. You know, use it for what it was designed for, soaking up long miles with aplomb.
The X350 will never be cheaper than it is right now, and if you're willing to span around it yourself and you're mindful of the parts prices, few cars can offer so much luxury for so little cash. Snap one up.